Okay, so how was the performance that night? If you had to sum up that night, how would you sum it up?
It was a very exciting, emotional evening, seeing people, some I hadn't seen for 25 years, and they're all meeting together and lots of squealing, and that was just the men, squealing and kissing and hugging, and it was, it was a great evening, and you don't often get the opportunity to do that.
And what was your initial reaction to the proposal? Was it immediate? Yes, I've got to go. It's definitely going to happen.
It was giving me a little chance to lose weight and get back into my costume. Gladly, they made a new red jacket to fit my aged girth. But no, I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew there was no way I couldn't do it. So I was very happy to get the chance to be there with everybody else.
And how did it feel to actually embrace that character again, to step on stage as the engineer? What kind of emotions were going through your head there?
The biggest emotion was that when Leia appeared, the theatre went wild, huge cheers, which seemed to last forever. And I was backstage thinking, if they don't do that for me, I'm just going to go home. Fortunately, the response was great, and it was a very celebratory time, and it was great to be able to do it again.
And having it filmed, is there any kind of awareness of that when you're acting? Is it, do you notice that it's going to be shown to everyone as well outside the theatre?
They never told me it was going to be filmed. Otherwise, I might not have done it. No, it was just the idea that people would get to see it was fun. It was a fun idea, really.
And what do you think the appeal of Miss Saigon is? I mean, because obviously audiences are still embracing it as much as they were when it started. Why do you think it still appeals?
Well, the great thing with great shows and great films is that they continue to find a new audience. Yes, there'll be people who've seen Miss Saigon 20, 30 times, but there'll be young people who'll be seeing it for the first time. And its appeal lies in the fact it's a great show with great music, very exciting music, very moving, emotional music. But it's a kind of traditional love story set against a very tragic background. And there's the mix of the intimate and the epic. And I think it always was exciting, and it continues to be exciting.
And you've had such an exceptionally diverse career thus far. Is it important to you to kind of mix it up, to be able to do TV, to be able to do theatre, to be able to do Broadway, to be able to do West End? Is it important to have all these different elements?
Well, I like to go between film and theatre. And Miss Saigon was my first musical, and I've done three since then. Oliver, My Fair Lady, and in New York I did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. So I'm glad I can go from doing a big musical to doing Wolf Hall or even Game of Thrones. I'm waiting for my big dance number in Game of Thrones, but they promised me one.
I mean, you never know with Game of Thrones, do you?
You don't.
Anything could happen.
No.
And what's kind of the difference between Broadway and West End? Do you feel like the difference in audience? Is there a contrast in doing them, or is it the same kind of thing?
It's no, the difference between Broadway and London. They really, your work is the same. The response is London's got more. There used to be a very big difference between Broadway and London. London audiences were described as being a little more restrained. They don't get up on their feet quite so readily. But I think there's a leveling out has happened when London realized that, oh, good, we can stand up, we can cheer, we can go crazy as well. So the responses are just as good.
I mean, especially at the end of this one now, if American audiences watch that, they'll be like, it's exactly the same. It's wild. Yeah. Everyone drinking champagne and dancing around.
Yeah. The audience is yet to find out that at every Cameron Mackintosh production, the audience is served champagne.
Really?
It's a tradition that he's going to keep up.
And I was even thinking, how did they manage to serve it all? Just the operation behind that.
Oh, they were very efficient. It was great. Yeah, warmed them up.
And going back to Game of Thrones, what was the draw of that show for you? Why were you a fan? Did you know much about it before you decided to take the role?
I hadn't watched it before. I took on the role of High Sparrow. It was it was a genre that didn't really appeal to me. I knew it was a huge worldwide success, but it wasn't until I read that script they sent me and I saw the character of High Sparrow, who comes into that extraordinary situation and changes it and try to do good as he sees it. And I'm really glad that I said yes, because I've had one of the best times ever. It's a great thing to be involved in with the great production values.
Do you find you're kind of getting recognised by a different audience now? Because obviously, like Game of Thrones, like really quite young fans as well. Are you getting recognised in the street quite a lot more? Or?
Well, the recognition factor has risen considerably, and some good, some bad. In that, everyone wants to have their photograph taken with you, and you have to make sure that when you leave home, you're dressed respectably and you're sober, and you're not looking like some. I do look like an old tramp. I'm growing my beard now because we're remounting The Merchant of Venice, which we take to America in a few weeks' time. So I do look like an old tramp. There you go. Take my photograph. I don't care.
And finally, what's next? Obviously, Merchant of Venice, you said. Is that what going to America, do you say?
Merchant of Venice, which has come from Shakespeare's Globe, and we go to New York, Washington, Chicago. Then we do a month in China. Then we're back to London, and we finish off in Venice in late October. We take The Merchant of Venice to Venice.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
But I've also there's a TV series called Taboo with Tom Hardy, which will come out later in the year.
So it's kind of completely non-stop then.
And it's all varied. It's all different, which I like. It's good.
Well, excellent. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Okay, thank you.
It's good to meet you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.